Here with me now is litigation trial attorney Rich Schoenstein. Rich, great to see you. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. Let's start at the beginning. Jared Bridegan, his killer, has been, well, at least has pled guilty to the crime and is now turning state's evidence, pointing the finger at the husband of his ex-wife. And the wife is the one in the crosshairs now. Talk to me about possible conspiracy charges against the wife and what they might need there.
Well, I guess they need evidence, Michael. I mean, the prosecutor left open. I saw that the press conference earlier today, and the prosecutor made it very clear that this investigation is still in progress. And the speculation, of course, is that they're looking at the wife. The shooter has identified the husband as being involved, and it would be natural to speculate that maybe the wife and her new husband conspired to get somebody to kill the ex-husband, which is, it's all horrible, especially when you consider the 4 children involved. But that is what I think the speculation it is. Of course, you can't convict on speculation. You can't even charge on speculation. Somebody's going to need some evidence.
And they've got motive. I mean, we've seen many times these sort of family squabbles over child care and things of that nature. A lot of motive there. But here's something else. They don't have to speculate too much. She actually admitted, this is the ex-wife now, she admitted in an interview to asking a tattoo parlor worker if she knew someone who could shut up Bridegan. So clearly that wouldn't be enough, but boy, I can tell you, it's enough to start looking at her very, very closely.
Oh, obviously, they're going to look at her. I mean, you're right about motive. You're right about custody disputes. They get out of hand, and we've seen before cases where custody disputes have led to murder, as hard as that is to imagine. Of course, being interested in shutting somebody up and being interested in killing them are 2 different things, but the investigators are going to look at this very, very closely.
Yeah, they're going to parse it all out, I'm sure. Let's go to Kohlberger now. You saw Chanley talking to someone who at the time, the people were pointing the finger, the internet was going crazy, and we know how that can really affect someone's life. We're starting to see lawsuits come out of that type of thing. You're in the civil arena. Is that a way to quell that kind of thing? Do you think someone like that gentleman has a lawsuit on the civil side?
It depends exactly what was said about him, by whom. It's one thing to sort of speculate and offer opinion on the internet about an unsolved crime. It's another thing to say that you know of evidence or you know of specific facts that would suggest somebody was involved. And if you're on the internet making false assertions about a person, you're representing evidence that doesn't exist or saying you know things that you don't know, I think there is potential liability. And remember, Michael, this isn't a public figure who has to plead actual malice. This is a private citizen who is being flagged on the internet as potentially being a murderer. I think there are potentially claims here.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. And finally, the Ice Cream Man murder trial. Lieutenant Jose Lugo testified today about a number of things. What jumped out at me was about these IDs, because I think that's where the state's case runs into its most problems. The IDs were not consistent. They were done under dubious circumstances. This guy's face, the defendant, Michael Keatley's face, was all around the neighborhood on various posters. There's that suggestive aspect to the identifications. Your thoughts on that aspect? And today really was how the state went about at least showing this jury that these identifications were fairly decent and not enough to stop a conviction here. Your thoughts?
Well, Michael, you've been covering these cases, these kind of cases, a long time. You probably know better than anybody that identification evidence can be false. We see a lot of cases where somebody purported to identify a person and it turns out not to be the right person. So that's always going to be in consideration. And the evidence here on identification is conflicting. It isn't ironclad. That's why the state in this particular case is going so deep on motive. They have a very strong motive case against this defendant as wanting retribution and revenge for being attacked and robbed and shot in his truck. They're really leaning into that because the other circumstantial evidence isn't strong enough without that, I don't think.
All right, fair enough. All right, Rich, stand by because now I do have to take a break. A lot